Don't ask me shit about Aaliyah. She has passed on. Let her rest in peace. She's not here to confirm or deny. And when you look at her legacy and all the work that that woman had to put in to undo and separate herself and become the icon and the star, let her have her damn moment, y'all.
Yeah. Run it up by the morning. Only one still on it. Only one still on it. Only one still really feel the feel, getting it on. Yeah. We gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta.
All right. Welcome to the Culture Club Uncensored. I am your host, Osei The Dark Secret. We are the podcast where we show you how music influences absolutely everything. Now, our next esteemed guest is a beautiful woman. Before fame, she was introduced to the world as the wife of the Pied Piper of R&B. She's a reality television star of VH1's Hollywood X's, as well as a choreographer, dancer, fashion designer, actress, and motivational speaker. As founder of the 12th Round Foundation, she gives a powerful voice to the voiceless, bringing awareness to domestic violence. She's director and founder of Pink Kitty Cabaret, and art saves lives. The woman, the mother, the resilient celebrity activist, Drea Kelly, also known as Drea. What's up, Drea?
All right, what's up? Now, you know when I die, I want you to do my eulogy now. Because that was fabulous.
Man, we're going to speak life, man, right?
Yes, yes.
Good to have you
We're
here.
here to speak life. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I know, you always bring great energy. You know what I'm saying? When you come into the room. What were you listening to on the way over here?
Silence, actually.
The sound of silence.
Yeah, the nothingness and silence is serenity. I just feel like music now, I don't even know if we can really call it music. It's just people on top of tracks. It's not really music anymore.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to turn on the radio and be moved emotionally, spiritually. We don't have music anymore that brings back memories.
Yeah.
That's what I miss about music.
Yeah.
Like, you put on Earth, Wind, and Fire, you think about your aunties, your uncles, a family reunion. Now you put on music and you like,
Okay.
what?
Yeah.
I have nothing to connect to. It's scary.
It is. I think the bar has been lowered, right? Where
That bar's
everybody,
gone.
yeah,
It has
no bar?
disappeared.
Okay.
It
Everybody feels like everybody can do it at this point.
You don't even have to sing anymore.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
be cute, have an amazing lace front and lashes, a
And just
sickening
go.
chain,
Yeah, that's
and
it.
somebody over the garage with an 808 machine, and you
yeah.
good.
You get a starter kit, man, and you off to the races.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Being someone who choreographs, who, naturally has dance within you, what song gets you hype? Starting your day, what's on your playlist?
Ooh, Mary, Mary, it's your time. I would say Southern Girl, Frankie Beverly and Mays.
You went to the B-side, too.
I did.
Okay.
Rick James. All of Rick James. I'm trying to think. I have so many because I love all types of music. Like, I love Maroon 5. I like Kings of Leon. I like
of Leon.
Metallica. So my playlist is crazy.
Need Somebody. I got that on my playlist.
Come on now.
Yeah. People don't know about that, though.
They don't know about, if y'all ever need a choreographer, holler at your girl. Yes, I love them.
That's what's up. Now, speaking of music, obviously, knowing that you were married to one of R&B's most iconic artists, how would you describe your relationship?
Ooh, what's the best way to describe? Well, now non-existent, but I think when we were together, it was fractured love.
Now, break that down.
Yeah,
Fractured love.
Fractured love, because we both came from a household where abuse was prevalent. So for us, that was not foreign. For me, growing up with my mother being abusive the way she was, and my grandfather was a Baptist preacher, but he was also the first man I ever saw beat a woman. So God, love, and pain were all one to me at a very young age. So You fast forward, now you're in an abusive marriage. That's not foreign to you. And I know a lot of people, they can't fathom, why would you stay that long? You have to understand, when a behavior is taught and it is embedded in you, when you're in it, that's nothing that you look at and go, oh, this isn't normal. You're like, oh, my mother, my grandfather. And it really wasn't what my grandfather did that changed me. It's what my grandmother didn't do that changed me. It was the fact that she got up the very next day and made that man breakfast like nothing ever happened. So she taught me to be a lady of grace through abuse. And she's also a first lady. He's a pastor. So seeing her on Sundays sitting that pure, so demure and graceful and elegant. But in my little mind at a very young age, I just knew, like, now those same hands he used to cast out demons are the same ones you used to abuse my grandmother. And then to just see her be so regal and royal in it, it taught me, oh, so you're a lady, you don't talk about it. That's what happens at home, which I think a lot of our culture, a lot of it is embedded in secrecy. So for me, it was just like, oh, well, if a man of the cloth does it, surely the man of the world does it. So this is normal.
Yeah. Wow. Would you say that your first experience with abuse, say in your marriage, were your parents like, okay, this is kind of what it is? I mean, were they a safe space for you to go to and have those discussions, or was it something you had to suppress?
No, I was alienated from my family by that
On
time.
purpose?
Yeah, on purpose, by design. So I get it. That's a part of the web, is getting you so far away from your family and being alienated from them that there is not a safety net. So your abuser feels like, again, I've got you in my web. There's nobody for you to reach out to.
But me.
Oh yeah. When my book comes out, when I tell you, people are gonna be like, what? How? What?
And I know that sometimes writing is definitely therapy,
Yeah.
right? And I'm glad to hear, you speak to it, because you're lighter, right? And every time, I've kind of observed you, it seems like, you're getting lighter and lighter and coming back to
Yeah.
your center.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, lighter and lighter, and this skin is getting thicker and thicker, because when I first came out, I just thought, this is gonna be kumbaya. The Lord might come back when I do this. Like, this is gonna help women.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for the victim shaming, the victim blaming. I was not prepared for how many women, of African American women, that attacked me on a daily. I was totally blindsided by that, because I thought they would get that she's coming forward to bring validity to these women's voices, because no one's listening. And unfortunately, we are in such a celebrity crazed and obsessed world that the needle really didn't start moving until I came forward. And I'm like, but my story is no different from victim 1, 13, 29, 57, 1,000, whomever. But now that I've spoken, the wife comes forward. Now everybody's like, oh, well, let's pay attention. That says a lot about society and where we are as a culture.
Yeah.
That I'm not going through anything any different than Miss Jones at the end of the block, but people don't care because she's not a celebrity.
How did y'all meet?
Actually auditioned to dance for him, to be his choreographer. Met him through LisaRaye. LisaRaye is my girl. Came on the last day of auditions. And I'm like, Lisa, I don't know, because my friend Larry Sims, celebrity stylist, hairstylist, he's like, come down. R. Kelly's having auditions. I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm what you call a bunhead, ballerina, love to dance. I was like, I'm a theater girl. I'm not doing R&B. I'm not coming down there. He was like, girl, if you don't come down here. When Lisa saw me crazy, walked in, and she was like, first thing LisaRaye said to me, turn around, let me see your booty. I was like, wait, what? She was like, just turn around, let me see your booty. I was like, okay. She was like, ooh, Rob gonna love you. And she gave me a number, and I went in audition, and we were inseparable from that day.
Wow.
Yep.
So you built a great relationship with LisaRaye.
Oh yeah, that's my love. That's my heart right there. And
Wow.
she goes to bat for, and she's from the south side of Chicago too.
Understood.
LisaRaye will let you know, don't let this pretty face fool you. I will rip your forehead meat back to the skull. Don't play with me. She is no joke.
Yeah. Wow. So upon meeting, how was that? Like, what was the build up to obviously getting married? What was the romance like on your way to the altar?
He chased me for a long time. I was like, ain't no way. I ain't gonna never, ever, 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 never, 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 ever, 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 never, ever, never, ever date you.
Why? Because that's a strong statement going in. What did you see, or what did you observe?
Just, he wasn't the first time that I was introduced to celebrity world. So let's get that straight for all y'all hating ones out there. My mom did marketing and promotion. She worked for GCI. She worked for Sony. She worked for RCA Records. So I was one of them venue brats that they call us. Like my mama go
You've
back to
seen
Hammer,
everything.
Lakeside, like the Isley Brothers. We running around backstage.
Isleys.
Yeah, so that wasn't new for me. So because I was familiar with that lifestyle, I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I know about the traveling groupies, the ones like the super fans, and just your level of commitment. I went into it knowing I will always be your mistress because your music will always be your wife. So I was like, yeah, I don't want that. I'm good.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long did y'all date before you actually got married?
Oh, let's see. He tasted me for 2 years, probably 1 year. 1 year.
Okay.
That I was like, all right, because honestly, we started out like sister and brother. It was more like we would crack jokes, we would travel together. I'm doing choreography while he's working on the album. He's working on Michael Jackson stuff. I'm doing choreography. So we had a great work relationship. So actually, it was me, his cousin Blackie, his brother Bruce. We was like the Three Musketeers. So in my mind, and at this time, people don't know this too. It's going to be in my book. I was engaged to be married when I met him to somebody else. So I was like, I'm not thinking about you. And another thing that people don't realize, I met him when I was 19 years old. I was married at 22. Should have never been married. What at 19, you don't need to be with a 26-year-old man, period. And we're going to leave it at that.
So that being said, and understanding he was in pursuit of you, what was your former fiance? What was he like? Was he just like
Complete opposite.
I knew this guy was gonna get. I knew this was gonna happen.
Well, eventually, yeah, we had that conversation because he's like, you with him all the time, you travel all the time, you ain't never here. He call you all times of the morning. But in my mind, because I'm like, we're preparing for tour, because people don't know also, I'm into fashion design, so I was doing our wardrobe and doing choreography, doing his wardrobe and choreography. So you're working with the sound man, working with the lighting man, working with the band. It is a long process before you get to tour. So I feel like he also, that was his end. Like I'm gonna play the big brother role and kind of lead you through this business.
Hold on, big brother, you
and
calling too
protect
early.
you. Too early,
Or
too
too
late,
late?
on time. It was a lot. It was a
Wow.
lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, you know, Drea, and I appreciate you just being open, right? Do you think that, did you know at a point that, this is shifting, even with your fiance? Did you realize it was definitely going in a different direction?
Yeah.
And he knew at the same time, your fiance, he felt it too.
Well, actually, it wasn't me. I came home from tour with a baby laying on the bed, and I was like, now I know your grandmama ain't bit more head. Listen, that is not Sarah's baby. What are we doing? I was like, I'm good. I'm one time. I was like, oh, that's what you've been doing while I'm on tour. Y'all be a happy family. Go ahead and live out your dream.
Okay. So
Yeah.
at that point, you were like, yeah, it's time.
Oh, yeah, I was good. I was good. Like,
Wow.
oh, okay. Good luck with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, I guess Robert, he was like, okay, now it's my time.
Because in my mind, thinking, run to Big Brother.
Oh, he like, I got a song for this.
Oh, he was like, come on, go to Europe with me. I'm like, I got a bag. I got nothing bag. He was like, you don't need nothing. We'll get it when we get there. And literally, I had my little bag and a passport. And literally everything I needed, he bought when I got there.
So this happens. When did you start to see, for lack of a better term, the other side of him?
I think it was always there. But when you are the employee of somebody, I just saw it as, at that time, it wasn't controlling abusive behavior. I was like, he runs a tight ship. Like, people knew on tour back in the day, when we would he cleared the hallways. Nobody was allowed to be in the hallways when we were walking from dressing room to stage. We were not allowed to speak to the other people and be in other people's camps. Like, it was crazy. It was almost like a dictator. But again, I just work for the man. So I'm like, well, if this is how he run his ship, I am not sacrificing my check because y'all want to talk. I'm going to that stage performing and getting on the bus. End of discussion. So I did not see that controlling part. I just thought, okay, and the way it was presented is because of safety, as people out there, I'm responsible for y'all when we on the road. So it made complete sense. But that when you're dealing with a manipulator and a narcissist, and you figure out what that is, you're like, oh, that was getting me in the web the whole time. Because then I feel like you're my protector. I feel like you have my best interest at heart. I feel like you're always going to watch out for me, when in actuality, you're controlling to know what I'm doing.
A lot of people, a lot of women now use the term narcissist. I think sometimes it might be overused.
Yeah.
But you coming from a very real situation that eventually manifested itself into what many people saw in the documentary, right? So you have this honeymoon period, I'm assuming, in terms of dating before you get married. So you said it was a year. So was it a whirlwind year where he's just sweeping you off your feet? And let me ask you this. How long after him and Aaliyah were you all together?
Yeah, okay, so here's the thing that people don't understand too, and I'm not going to give too much because it's in my book. You have to understand, I was dancing for him in a world where there was no social media. So you have your world over there. I'm an employee. I'm just dancing for this man. And like, people really attack me. You knew you was married to him. I was not. Y'all need to do your history. I'm just an employee. I go home to my fiance. I don't know this man's private life. And I'm not going to risk my job asking about your private life. Just like you're not going to walk into the CEO of AT&T or BP and be like, so boss, who you dating? What's going on? I know you got a wife. Are you cheating? Absolutely not. You like, that ain't none of my business. Move on. So a lot of stuff, when it came to surface, again, years later, that was stuff that I'm learning as the world is learning, and everybody looking around like, wait, where was I? What was going on? But I'm okay with it. It took me a long time to just accept that people speak ignorantly without doing their research, without going back, looking at dates and going, well, if you do look at 1995, 1996, there wasn't social media. That was a time where you had teams and lawyers and PR, and that was their job, to suppress, cover, make sure it doesn't get out. And again, not to throw anybody under the bus, when friends and family of the opposite side are still around, there's nothing to be curious or raise an eyebrow, because you're like, well, they cool. Barry's okay.
Meaning Aaliyah's family.
Yeah,
they were still.
So, but again, people, I don't think that they even care to think and dig deep enough to go, that makes complete sense. They want to point the finger at somebody because they feel like at the end of the day, I took down one of their icons.
Oh, yes. Fans, you say.
Oh, he has super fans. Like, super fans. I have been threatened. Like, I have screenshots that I've sent to my attorney. Somebody claiming to be his sister was like, if he go to jail, I'm going to put a bullet in your head myself. Like, the stuff that people send me and threaten me with, I'm like, yo.
Even to this day?
Oh, to this day. To this day. But again, I have seen the transformation in myself that I used to be like, but why? Let me do an interview and explain. Now, are we allowed to cuss? Because I'm sure finna let y'all. Fuck y'all. That is honestly how I feel. I really do feel that way. I'm like, Kanye hit it on the head. I'm for who I'm for. I don't have time to be wasting on y'all knuckleheads. It's women out here who are voiceless. I need to be their voice. I need to use my platform to bring awareness to what's really happening. I don't have time to be worried about Shantae Lakeisha _23 with that horrible lace front talking about what she don't know.
Drea, when was the last time y'all spoke?
God, that had to be over 10 years ago. Yeah.
So y'all haven't spoken in 10 years.
There's nothing to say.
And what was the last conversation like?
Don't play with me. Don't play with my kids. I'm not that little girl. I'm not that 19-year-old that walked into that audition. I'm a lioness and these are my cubs. Don't play with me.
Now with the children, how was he as a father?
Horrible.
Really?
I mean,
And
there's
I
just.
and I
I think that men in a position of power confuse being a provider with being a father. Because there's a mansion, because there's a nanny, because there's a driver, those are things that you provide. Being a father means you need to be present. And at the end of the day, you're your own boss. So the excuse of I was in the studio or I'm traveling, I'm doing this, your children become before everything. Because at the end of the day, you never sell another album. Or if you're in prison, you're still somebody's father.
what is it like with the children and their relationship with him now?
This is going to sound odd to a lot of people. I really don't know. They're adults now. I have stepped away when Robert Jr. turned 18. I was like, whatever you decide from this point, if you want to call him, you don't have to get permission. If you want to go visit him in jail, you don't have to get my permission. You're a young adult now. That is up to you. But I've always been that mother that I knew how to separate him not being a good husband and the relationship with him and his children as their father. Those are two separate things. So whatever my children feel, if you love them and want to see them, great.
Yeah.
If you hate them and never want to talk to them again, great. That is your decision. Because I know what it's like to be his ex-wife, his wife. I can kind of separate myself from that. They share DNA. That's forever.
How did your parents feel about him? Knowing the cycle of abuse that you observed, what was their viewpoint on him as a person and his treatment of you?
I will tell you this, my dad is a retired naval officer, and he said the next time, if ever it comes to it, y'all will see me on the glass like this. So y'all figure that out for yourself. My dad was like, I better not ever run across that man on the street. Ever. But the respect I have for my father, he's like, but because that is the father of my grandchildren, that is the only grace he gets. Only.
That's an interesting perspective considering what you've observed even growing up.
Yeah.
I think that, a lot of times people take note of people in prison or people that the biggest gangsters, but we all have a soft spot.
Yeah.
And, figuring out what that is. And a lot of times I've seen some tough guys, if their mamas, hey, we gonna come after your mama now, or your kids, your grandkids. So clearly that was a tender moment for your father.
Yeah, because
Okay.
for him, it's like, okay, one blow, that was my daughter, but now it's the second, third, and fourth with my grandchildren.
Yeah.
So that just took my dad over the edge. He was like, yeah, I'm
Wow.
good.
What was conversation like? Did you understand the cycle of abuse that he had been through growing up? Did y'all ever talk about that?
I did.
Really? Because from what I've read and researched and seen, it seems as if, he was abusing men, women, just whatever. Is that accurate?
But I think it stems from his childhood, being molested by a man and a woman.
So So that's confirmed that he was
Oh, yes.
molested by both men
Yes.
and women.
Men and women.
Wow.
Dealing with illiteracy, not being able to read.
Now, we would hear about these things, but it was never really confirmed.
Oh, God, yeah. What's the best way to describe? I don't want to say a humbling. Sitting with him, and I remember going through a Dr. Seuss book. And he gets out of the bed and he goes in the hallway, and I'm like what's like he just transformed into this little boy right before my eyes, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, we're just reading stories to the kids, what's going on? And he shared with me, he said, Drea, I don't want to do that in front of them. And I said, but why? He was like, I can't read to them what's in that book. I don't want my kids to know I can't read. I said, but Robert, what you have to understand is they can't read either. You are magical in here. Make up the story as you go. I'll help you sound it out. And literally, I was teaching him to read through Dr. Seuss books. But I feel that it was a love-hate relationship, because he would use that against me at times. He would also say, oh, you think you better than me because you can read. So I think he always had a love-hate relationship with me.
So you were seemingly living out The Color Purple.
It's very hard to watch that movie.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow.
But in the end,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that right there.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Why did you choose to keep the last name?
Because I paid for this name in blood, sweat, and tears, literally. Literally. Like, after watching What's Love Got to Do with It, I was in the midst of it and coming out of it, and I understood why she said, you can have everything, but I'm keeping this name. Nobody knows what it's like to be me. And at the end of the day, it's very odd to me that we live in a society. You crucify me for having the last name, but you would not be on my social media and care who I was if I didn't have the last name. So I just let people know real early out the gate, you shouldn't care why I kept the last name. You should be concerned about what I'm doing with the last name. Because I have this last name, 2020 comes and follows me for a day. I've been on CNN. I've been on the platforms. I've been able to speak in Anguilla and on military bases talking about domestic violence awareness and sex trafficking awareness because of the last name. So let's not be concerned about why. We should be applauding what I'm doing with it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people out here with last names, and y'all are promoting complete bullshit in our community.
Yeah. So you go from falling in love with this man to one of the things I read is, he hogtied you.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, this is, for me, mind-blowing. Anytime you hear anybody's story, any woman's story for me, but the way you told the story, it seemed as if he hogtied you, you were on the side of the bed, and he went to sleep in the bed?
He fell asleep.
And how many hours were you tied up?
I don't even know. I just remember being like, all right, think. You are a dancer. You're flexible. What can you do? I know I can get my feet as close to my head as possible. Like, literally, it felt like a scene out of the movies where they kidnap somebody and throw them in the back of the van, and then they cut to the scene where the person just been there for hours, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, so either I'm going to figure out how to get out of this, or when he wakes up, I don't know what monster. I don't know if I'm getting the teddy bear or the grizzly bear when he wakes up. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm getting out of this. It was crazy. Like, if there was social media back then, that would have been a mess. Wow. Like, literally me escaping, running out the house, running down the street, in the park, hopping the fence, and he's chasing me.
So wait a minute. After he wakes up?
Yeah. So our bedroom had an automatic lock on it, and that's another thing that people are like, why didn't you just leave? Why didn't you just do this? Why don't you just do that? And I'm like, you have no idea the fortress I lived in. Okay, that's number one. So the door had an automatic lock, and it was like one of the magnetic locks. So when you lock the door, in order to get out, you have to push a button, and it makes this click noise that makes a bell go off. So I'm like, even when I get out of this, I gotta push that damn button, and that, oh, okay, how do you, so I had to be lightning quick, like push it, open the door, click. That's what woke him up.
So you woke him up because you eventually got out?
Yes, running down the stairs. So I'm like, shit, I got to get down all these stairs to the front door. I'm like, there's no time to grab a purse. There's no time to grab shoes. There's no time to do anything. I got about 10 seconds to get from that third floor down to the first floor to get to the door and out the door. I was like, okay, here we go. And me and him running down the damn street looking stupid. Yes.
Before social media.
Before social media, thank God. Because I could only imagine right now the headlines, R. Kelly and wife running down the street, she's screaming and hollering barefoot.
Because he always kept a very tight veil around him that you couldn't really, almost impenetrable, so to speak. And so this happens. What was it like when he caught up to you? What transpires at that point?
Immediately, you're thinking I'm going to die.
So what's he saying to you when, like, how did that play out? He catches up to you running on foot? He finally catches up to you? So he ain't stopped?
No. I'm thinking, okay, we out in public. He ain't going to act a fool out here because there's people watching. Was I wrong? But again, it's all in the book.
Jay, this is going to be one hell of a book.
I've been on the fence about the book, too.
Well, I mean, if I may, and I say this to you because, I mean, we've talked before, but kind of hearing you now, I understand your therapy, right? For instance, I felt like reading Jada's book, or not reading it, but just understanding the excerpts and things of that nature, it seemed ill-timed and, almost ill-advised considering what had happened with Will and Chris Rock.
Right.
And so it changes the lens, and one thing we don't have control over is the public. At the end of the day, telling your truth is your truth. Yeah. And no matter what, it is what it is. So, I respect that, I understand that, and I think that when you've gone through trauma, that's the thing. As Black people, we don't oftentimes get a chance to express ourselves. We're always told to keep going, just move forward.
And we need to be honest with ourselves. We are a very judgmental culture.
Yes, we are.
We are, and I get it. Like being after doing the work and the healing and just years and years of counseling and going in and shadow work and dealing with little me and big me, I get it. I get why his super fans feel the way they do. We don't have a lot of icons, and the ones that we do, they suppress our history so that let me take that back. We do have a lot of icons. We're just not taught about them. So when we get that one that made it out, it feels like we're rooting for ourselves. We feel like we're rooting for our uncle. We're rooting for our dad. We're rooting for our son. So we feel like protect them at all costs. But then when do we start to protect the Black woman at all costs? And I think to heal the Black man, unfortunately, you got to pull his coattail. You have to be that one person that's going to be like, so we going to all sit around and act like this is okay? Because you has a lot of yes men. And like you said, it wasn't just me and my ex. People have to realize at the time that it's me, my ex, Jive Records, Sony Records, promoters, concert goers, people that sell. They don't understand the domino effect of how many people make money off this one man. All the way down to the guy who has a valet service at the arenas where he's doing concerts. Everybody's connected to that. So I'm going up against all of them. I had a restraining order. I had an order of protection way before there was social media. So a lot of people were like, why is she just coming out now? I came out years ago. Y'all chose to ignore it. You can go Google it right now. You can Google the episode of MTV News when they used to do it, when they pulled up my order of protection. People just chose to ignore it.
Because of who he was.
Me. Yeah, because of who he was. So this isn't Drea just coming out of the woodworks one day. It's like, but I've been screaming to the top of my lungs, and Jive Records is the one who put out a statement on my behalf. I was like, so that's what we're doing? Really?
So when that first tape came to light of the underage girl, what was it like for you being in a relationship with him at that time?
Ooh, the cover up and the lies and what people don't understand too. It's in my book. I almost lost my son over that. I was pregnant at the time. Went into premature labor because of it. Middle of the night, again, it's in my book. I just get, let's go, we leaving. What do you mean we're leaving? I'm 7.5 months pregnant. Where are we going? We're going to Florida. What? And if anybody has followed that story, they know how that all happened being in Florida. He gets extradited back to Illinois. I literally delivered my son. They induced my labor because they thought I was going to deliver a stillborn because they could not find my son's heartbeat. So the stress of it, and again, people with their opinions and how they feel, that's why I honestly feel like, fuck y'all. You have no idea what I've been through. Yeah. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
You've endured a lot.
Man, listen, I think a lot is a generic term for, because you just can't find words for what I've endured.
Yeah, it's hard to quantify, I'm sure.
It is.
What was the therapeutic process like for you? Because mental health is key, and I think we're starting as a community to realize
Thank
that,
God.
Which wasn't always something I think, was widespread for us, right? So hearing you, and like I said, lighter, and I love it because, now, you bring that energy into the room, and you seem so free, and I know that that's got to be, that's healing, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I was willing to go through the darkest parts of it and not. Let me say this. Some people, when you're put in a position of celebrity, they don't want to share their whole truth because you feel like you're protecting your brand. You feel like, well, how are people going to look at me? At the end of the day, this is bigger than a brand. This is about women's lives. So I was like, you know what? Well, we're about to do this with the whole world watching. But if it's one woman that sees anything that I'm doing that does not end up on a balcony like me, ready to jump off of it, I'm willing to face whatever comes with it. I'm willing to face him. The ignorance that people spewed, like, oh, she ain't say nothing because she got money. Now she's saying something because she want money. Y'all, do the math. Do the math. There's no woman on the face of the earth that will endure and go through what I went through. There's no dollar amount that you could give any person, let alone a woman, a wife, and a mother, to say, oh yeah, you could, that's fine. No.
Going back after the tying incident, what's going through your mind at that moment?
Again, because it wasn't foreign to me. And people need to really study the cycles of abuse, that you go through the honeymoon phase, and then you go through the trauma and the violence of it, and then you go through the making up phase and the hope phase of it. It's this vicious cycle. Oh, I won't do it again. I'm sorry. Let's go to counseling. We're going to make it. I know it's my demons. So you're hopeful and you're thinking, let me get back to that guy who was courting me and dating me and doting upon me. Let me go back to the person that was my best friend. So when you see glimpses of that guy, you have hope that, like, okay, this time is the time. Okay, this time we gonna go to counseling this time. We gonna go to church. We gonna pray through this thing. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse till you find yourself like me on a balcony ready to jump off of it. And you're like, oh, no, it's not going to get any better.
So you're considering suicide at this moment?
Oh,
you guys were in a hotel?
Yep.
Okay.
Coconut Grove. Never forget it.
And
Wyndham Grand Bay.
Was he in the room still?
No. Actually, this was during the time I think he was getting ready to perform for MTV. And I just remember he called me down to see what he's going to do. And my friend at the time, Diana, was with me. And she was like, yo, Drea, your face. Like, I have never seen you look at him like that. Because the night before, again, he was verbally abusive in front of my daughter. And I just remember going back to seeing myself watch my grandfather be abusive to my grandmother. And I was just looking at my daughter, and she said to him, she's like, Daddy, why are you being mean to my mom? Why are you talking to her like that? And Osei, it was like a light went off. I was like, yo, she's aware of what this is. And if I stay, she's going to end up with a man just like him. Or she's going to end up in a casket. I was like, yeah, I'm out. And it was like, I promise you, it was like a light switch. Something went off. And the first thing I said is call my dad.
So that became your why.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, earlier I think I confused your father with your grandfather.
Yeah, no. So my dad was like.
So he wasn't engaged in abuse. He was.
Oh no, my dad is so amazing. Like it
That's
amazes me to see that my dad had the father who he had, and ended up total opposite. Gentle spirit, strong man, mean what he say what he mean. Like he's just.
That's what's up.
That's my dude. That's my dog. Like, as grown as I am, I will crawl up in my daddy's head like, Daddy. That's my dog.
As you should. Yeah. No, that's respect.
Yeah.
Drea, I know that well, before we go there, I want to just ask you, in that time frame, did you ever meet Aaliyah?
No, and here's the thing, and I always say this to people, and I try to say it as respectfully as possible. Don't ask me shit about Aaliyah. And the reason I say that is because she has passed on. Let her rest in peace. She's not here to confirm or deny. And when you look at her legacy and all the work that woman had to put in to undo and separate herself and become the icon and the star, let her have her damn moment, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, why do y'all, that is the most disrespectful thing that I think people do, is we say rest in peace and let the dead rest and honor their legacy, and then y'all keep pulling her into something that when she was alive she didn't even want to talk about. So what the hell make y'all think the ghost of Aaliyah gonna come back and talk about it now?
Yeah. Present day, someone who is experiencing something similar to what he went through is now Diddy. And the allegations, it's just been a snowball effect. I mean, it starts civil and then it rolls into what appears to be something criminal. I don't have all the answers or the intel, but I read, I study from a journalistic perspective, and just curious as to what that's been for you. You've met Diddy, I take it.
I have.
Okay. What was your interaction
I'm
like?
good on you.
Then
I'm an energy person, and after being in it and out of it, your antennas are up. So you can detect that energy a mile away. And it's funny, one of my girls, Tanika Ray, which I love, she's a dancer. That's how an opportunity actually came about like, yo, he looking for that. I'm good. And then when I met him, I was really like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
So you felt like you could see that energy.
Yeah, but at that time, I just know that
The feeling.
heavy, dark, like, anytime you make my neck feel like I need to see a chiropractor, like, ooh, I'm good. I'm good.
Now, were you with Robert at the time, or
We were actually at an award show. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, oh no, I'm good. Thank you though.
Wow. What are your thoughts about the allegations now? Fast forward to this coming to the forefront. I take it you've never been to any of the parties.
No, thank God. No, I'm good on that. There's only two people I care about: those babies and the victims.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't feel one way or the other because I don't, and because I've sat in that seat before where people have assumptions, they think they know but they don't know, or I heard, or I know somebody who know the bodyguard, who know the gardener, who bought the food. Y'all, unless you were there, don't speak on it. But what I will say, I know the effects that it has on children, that at the end of the day, you take all of this away, that's somebody's father. That's their father.
Yeah. It was sad to hear his kids being brought into it at this point. And, it just gave me a lot of pause because you are definitely seeing, as black people in the media, it gets ugly. And, it's easy to paint black men as, sexual deviants. I think we become the poster child for that type of stuff when it rolls out.
But this is a part of pulling the coattails. They can't paint what you don't give them a paintbrush and paint and a canvas to paint it on.
No, that is true. I'm just speaking more from the historic perspective.
Historically, yes.
Yeah,
but I think
but
that's
you're right.
why you should be so proactive in not.
Sure.
Because we know what the setup is.
Sure.
We know what the game plan is.
Yeah.
We know what the blueprint is.
Yeah.
So why would you then position yourself to become the prototype of everything they've created?
And for me, it's not even so much about Diddy, it's looking at his sons, right?
Yeah.
Because now they're drawn into it, and it kind of made me think even with, I feel like, when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock, it, again, was another opportunity to change the perception of black people, black men specifically.
Yeah.
Because if Will Smith, if they can get Will Smith acting like that, then they're like, see, we told you.
Yeah.
Y'all get to acting a fool, and we try to we tell the world about y'all, and that's something I think that we're not always as cognizant of. But I definitely, saying respect your perspective on it. I know your daughter was born Joanne Kelly, right?
Yeah.
Changed her name to what?
No, okay, so my first daughter, Joanne Kelly, is named after Robert's mom. His mom's name was Joanne.
Okay.
My middle child is Ja. JJ. Yeah.
Okay, Ja.
Yeah.
So Ja changed the name. Is it what?
No,
Buku?
she's
Oh.
so Buku is Joanne's stage name.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, so
Nah.
a lot of people are like, Drea got 6 kids, 80 kids, what's going on? So they all have their stage names. So Joanne is named after his mom.
Okay.
Buku is her stage name, Buku
Okay.
Abai.
Okay.
And then there's Ja, my middle child, that they did a write-up about her because she was like, okay, I want to have sex gender reassignment surgery. I was like, no, ma'am, Pam, this is what we gonna do. Because you have to realize the world's not like mama. You are a black female lesbian in a conservative white world. No, ma'am. Everybody's not going to be, oh, we love you. We're here. You need to just go out into the world and see what that's like first. And prepare yourself that everybody's not going to be kind. Everybody's not going to be loving. Everybody's not going to be accepting of who you are. This is at home. And you will always have this at home. But until you face the real world and really know what you're getting into, and thank God I wasn't one of those parents. Now, the ones that do, hey, those are your kids. You do what you want to do. I just wanted her to be able to solely walk in. This is what it looks like in today's world to stand up for your sexuality. Are you prepared?
What was that conversation like, and was it had
Just like that.
Oh wow.
I don't play.
Did she did she speak to her father as well, or
No.
okay.
Ja, Ja's a lot like me. Like, dude, I'm good on you. That is my twin.
Okay.
That is my twin. Especially when Ja became really aware of, she couldn't put her finger on what was happening because I left when they were so young, that for them it was kind of like, I just remember we were in the mansion and growing up at grandma and grandpa's house, because people don't know that either. I left when my kids were babies. So it was hard.
Yeah.
So that's all they know. They just know one day we was there and the next day we woke up at grandma and grandpa's house.
Yeah. What similarities do you see between your children and your ex now?
Writing. They write, produce, master, arrange. Like my son, sometimes to hear him sing in the house sounds, his cadence just like his dad. But complete opposite. He does rock. He like metallic, like he is just so like goth down. He has piercings. They call him Big Dracula. He has his whole world. But when I can spit in a cipher, can sing R&B, he can do just about anything. House music, jazz the same way, right? Taught themselves how to play instruments. My son taught himself to play congos and guitar. Ja taught herself to play piano by ear, just like her dad. Joanne taught herself to play guitar by ear, just like her dad. They all sing. Like, to see that and to see them dance and act like me, to see both of us in them is crazy.
Yeah.
But that is, people get on like, how can you talk about him in one breath about abuse and smile in the other? Because I have the best part of him. I have his 3 children. And I see the greatness that he is and was to be in my kids. That's what allows me to be like, yeah, those are ours.
Yeah. I've heard him speaking a lot more lately from prison. And it sounds like it's sad.
It's sad.
It's sad.
It's sad.
It's sad. Like, I mean, and I say that almost like foreshadowing, so to speak, looking at Diddy, right? And I don't know what's going to play out, and I don't know all the facts, but, just understanding that there's a lot of smoke. So somewhere there may be a lot of fires, and I don't know what that is, but a lot of our iconic, brothers are seemingly crashing. You know what I mean? And
yeah, well, it's by design. Because Elvis Presley is still an icon, and we're going to leave that at that with your 15-year-old wife. And again,
yeah,
I'm not making excuses.
No,
I'm not saying it's on
truth.
any level.
No.
Jerry Lee Lewis is still an
yeah.
icon.
Yeah.
And the list probably goes on and on and on and on.
And that's what I was saying when I made mention of that, because, again, right is right, wrong is wrong,
Right.
No matter the color, ethnicity, no matter what, right? But it's just seemingly in the way that it's perpetuated how much of a threat, because even if you're not participating in anything like that, you still look like them to the masses, and they will treat you accordingly, right? Because there's always been this inherent fear of black people.
Yeah. Well, the goal is to let us know on a constant, everyday level, you are not us, and you will never be.
And that's where that's the direction that I was going with it, and I appreciate you kind of just speaking to it. Now, there's a rumor that you participated in the Surviving R. Kelly documentary only because they paid you. I know.
When I say that is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. Like, at first, it used to hurt me. I'm like, why would they say something like that? Because y'all ignorant as hell.
Yeah.
That's why you said it.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, whether they paid me $1 quadrillion or zero, my goal was nobody's listening. All right. So let's take, because unfortunately, when it comes to us, women of color, we live in a country where you all will rally behind one white woman's lie, why we have an Emmett Till, and she still has not been brought to justice. I don't care if you 963 years old and you got 2 hours to live, ma'am, you gonna see the inside of a jail. That's where you gonna meet Jesus. Clink, clink.
Yeah.
But again, America will rally behind one white woman's lie, and it takes 30 black women and 25 years for y'all to pay attention. So again, when I talked to my attorney, and this was long before they even came to me about being a part of it, I saw Geronda Pace on The Real. And I was like, I cannot not say anything, because what this girl is describing, she would only know if it happened to her, because that's like watching myself on TV. And I was like, and isn't that sad? They went to commercial break and went on to that next old topic, and nobody blinked. Or as the old folks said, y'all just blunk at that, huh? I was like, so nobody's going to do anything? Nobody's going to say anything? Nobody. So me coming forward again was like, okay, I have a level of credibility that they take away from these women. At the end of the day, they still look at them as groupies. Y'all still look at them as side chicks. Y'all look at them as jump offs. When a wife and the mother of his children come forward, I'm hoping that people will open their ears, open their eyes, and pay attention. So if people think that was a money grab, I go work at Magic City if I want a quick money grab. Because I'm going to make a whole lot more, a whole lot quicker with this body in Magic City than sitting and bearing my wounds, my scars, the darkness, the pain. Yeah. Like, what do y'all think's coming out of that? And at the end of the day, they have to realize him behind bars mean he's not making money. He's not making money means you're not paying child support. You not paying child support mean my kids are not being taken care of. But guess what? I will trade all of that if that means one more woman is not on a balcony ready to jump off of it. Y'all need to do y'all math, or as the old folks say, do your arithmetic, baby. It don't add up. But I knew at the end of the day, there's going to be some suffering, some pain behind this. But on the front end, it keeps a woman from suffering and pain.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. You know, to our friends and family that come to the Culture Club Uncensored, we like to break bread. So
what?
Dre, I've been, I'm my family, we West African, so we seem to have had a lot of our guests trying some dishes with your African cousin. Okay. So I want you to go ahead and take the top off of that. We know you're vegan, right?
Because I was about to say, now, I love you, babe, but if this a goat, I'm running up out of here. Okay.
It might come out, but it ain't for you. All right?
Okay.
So with this, open that. Yeah. Let's see. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
We have a little yassa, so vegan yassa.
Okay.
All right. Usually they do it with yassa chicken, some fufu, couscous. Some jasmine rice and these greens I think you'll appreciate. But you'll be the judge of that. All right.
Okay. Now, am I supposed to eat it with I want to do it proper. Because I've seen people eat it with their hands, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah. You can, but you can, for the sake of this.
Okay. I could be a classy
you can. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm be a classy.
And while we get into the food, Dre, why don't you tell us what it was like, maybe your first date after coming out of all of this, and what was that like dating?
That's a fool, Osei.
Yeah? What's it like?
You know what? It's so weird, because when you date guys in the industry, unfortunately being a woman, you date any other actor, singer, you sleeping with everybody. She done slept with all the, it can't just be one. She done slept with all the R&B singers, or you sleep with all the actors. So that's strange. And then when you deal with men with money, they feel like they have to outdo what you had. So if you had one Maybach, I'm gonna get you two. If you had a private jet, I got 5. You lived in a mansion, I got 30 mansions. Then when you deal with the average everyday guy, it's the insecurity of, well, baby, we flying Southwest. Ain't no private jets over here. So it's a weird place to be, because it's you damned if you do, damned if you don't. So I say damned you do, damned if you don't give a damn and do you. Yeah. So it's weird. So it's not an easy thing to do.
Do you find that your preference now is you like that? What you on the fufu?
Okay,
you got some of the yassa?
The yassa.
Okay, and the greens.
Okay. I'm just going to take one more bite, because I'm about to get real ignorant in this place. So I'm going to finish this interview first. It's about to be real ignorant, y'all.
Shout out to Fabiola, man.
What is this?
Oh, the greens. Those African greens.
What's in it?
You know what? Fabiola, what's in it? Nouveau Marquis. Shout out to them, man. They've been a great partner. We'll make sure you can you can finish that up, and get down like Chicago does.
Yeah, and the internet ignorant. I don't want no greens in my teeth, and somebody zoom in and be like, "You see them greens? How I told?" Like they will miss the whole purpose of this interview.
No, I so get it. And, we want to make sure we got you taken care of. Now you got remarried? Is that true?
I did. It was stupid, and that was basically a no. Oh, y'all, hold on, edit. We back. I did. It was real dumb. Really? Gotta know. It was stupid. Okay. It was stupid. Okay.
Like, was it after a short amount of time?
Yeah, and it was on Hollywood Exes, and people are always like, "See, she got remarried, and why she didn't change her name?" Because I didn't want to. It's real simple. Like, y'all make it harder for yourselves being concerned about my name. And I'm not going to change my name. The marriage was basically, we were together for a year. I told him out the gate, it's two things that will have you looking at the back of my head. Abusive, aggressive behavior, and don't publicly humiliate me, because I've already been through that. So long story short, some girl he was dealing with, she's DMing me, sending me pictures of him in our house. And I'm like, but that's my whole bathroom. I knew it wasn't a lie, because what happened, the garbage can flipped up and hit him in the eye and gave him a black eye during Thanksgiving. So he sent her a picture like, "Babe, I got a black eye, woo, woo, woo." She's asking him like where he is. He done lied, said he had a friend's house. So I was like, so guess what? You going back to Ohio. Y'all be in that trailer park. Y'all be as happy as y'all can be. I'm not even mad about it. Please leave. I was done. Like, after going through what I went through, I was like, yeah, I'm good. So, yeah, I was married, and that was annulled, and I was not changing my name. I wasn't about to do all that passport, social security card. People don't understand. It's a whole process to do that. And my kids are Kelly, so.
Yeah, understood. Are you dating now?
That girl is dating.
Okay.
It's ooh.
That's a whole. We got to bring you back. I mean, Drea, we got to bring you back so we can unpack that, or
you
what?
know what it is. I think I'm like the ghetto fabulous celeb homegirl who likes Target t-shirts with red bottom shoes. So I'm from Chicago. So trying to find that balance, like I don't take it too seriously, because I understand just like they put you on that pedestal, they can't wait to watch you fall off of it. So to find somebody that's secure with who he is, what you bring to the table, I'm okay with that. Be exactly who you are. You don't have to outdo, outshine, none of those. So, and I'm like that homegirl. Like, if you're not gonna be my dog, my bestie, let's talk about it. We can get through this thing together, have fun. But then also, when it's time to be that brand and click, click, shine, shine, red carpet, we need to do what we need to do. It's hard to find that.
So even though you don't eat no chicken, we can still run through Harold's. And
I'm going to go get it for you. And tell him to put extra mild sauce and put it on his fries too. And don't forget his bread.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Okay. Come on now. They don't understand.
They don't understand. They don't get it.
They don't what's a staple, when you go home that you got to have? What kind of food you got to have when you get back to Chicago?
Oh, I don't get to go there often. And because being vegan.
Yeah.
It's really not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Just give a girl some vegetables. I don't care where you take me.
Yeah.
Give me some, I wish McDonald's had vegetables, because I've been there like, give me a 6-piece corn on the cob. I promise you, if they had that at McDonald's, I would go.
No, understood. What are you looking for in a potential mate or in a man? What do you desire? What do you admire?
I look for a man who fears God, not loves God. And there's a difference, because you get so many men with their misogynistic lyrics and how they treat women, and get up there and accept an award and say they love God. So you loving God is nothing to me. Do you fear God?
That's interesting. We could be here all day on that, but we
need
come
like
back.
part 5, 6, 7, and 8. You gotta fear God. You have to fear God.
Because the producer's giving me the signal, but I gotta ask you this too. The stories that I've heard, obviously, I can only imagine, what it was like, and maybe the level of jealousy you've experienced. Would you say that many people who were quote unquote his friends were trying to get at you?
Before, during, and after. Let me tell you.
Before your DMs was DMs?
I'll say after. I was like, wait, what's happening? Because you know what is so strange about it? it made some of his words true. That I always say is there's truth in the lie and there's a lie in the truth. Him being controlling but presenting it as protective when I was away from him, part of me was like, and I see why he act like that about you. Like, oh, now I see why he didn't want you talking to me. Now I see why when I walked in the room, you had to look at your feet. Crazy, but I'm not a man. So of course I'm not reading energy in that way. So it's just the water gets murky when abuse is involved because it's borderline protection and concern, but it's mixed with control and jealousy. But I think that's what was the most painful, that they made his words true.
Did you head out to any of the dates on the Best of Both Worlds tour? Were you around for any of that?
Ooh, Best of Both Worlds. Oh God, we were still touring, dancing at that time, doing choreography. Yeah, and I remember the debacle that happened.
That was pretty
at times.
crazy.
That was crazy.
So you were there the night in New York when it just went
I've never
left?
been evacuated by police like that. And I don't know, some people don't believe that story, how it happened, but literally I was in the ambulance and went with him to the emergency room, the whole pepper spray, and they had him upside down on the table with the drains going in his eyes, like security. I have never been that scared in my life. And the way it happened, I was like, nah, it's a whole lot of dressing rooms for just him and Jay-Z. But again, that's in my book too, because when you walk in, you like, why Mary J. Blige got a dressing room? Why so-and-so got a dress? Like, the energy was off from the time we pulled up to the venue.
So I knew it was going to be something.
I knew it was going to be something, but I never knew it was going to be that.
The book, what's the name of the book, Drea?
Under the Red Carpet.
Under the Red Carpet.
Yep.
Okay, and when can we anticipate this?
I'm still, this book has been 10 years in the making.
Okay.
But I felt like it wasn't time until I got to that spiritually feeling the level of finality. Yeah. Spiritually where I'm okay with whatever you have to say about me, whatever you feel about me. Fuck y'all.
Yeah. I love your spirit and your energy, Drea. And I appreciate you. I'm so happy that you are where you are in your life. And man, I'm rooting for you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. You were inspired to create your foundation. What is it, 12th Round?
The 12th Round Foundation.
Wow. Why'd you name it 12th Round?
Because when you watch boxing, that 12th round, that's that round.
Yeah.
It's the fight of your life.
I mean, that's a powerful, for me, a visual, like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And considering what you've been through.
Yeah. And to make it to the 12th round, by the time you get to the 12th round, your body is so bruised, battered, fatigued, worn out, tired, that is like, I'm fighting for this title. I'm fighting for my life.
Yeah.
So that's why I named it the 12th Round Foundation.
Respect. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Respect. Thank you for joining us. Drea Kelly, Under the Red Carpet, coming soon. You know that Atlanta Black Star has something for you, man, and we appreciate her coming by. And I think she's going to be back. And we're going to break bread some more. All right? So we'll catch you next time right here on the Culture Club Uncensored.